Good morning, friends, and welcome to your virtual art class. And welcome back to school after spring break. I hope you have had a wonderful vacation and had a great time with your family or friends or whatever you did over the break. I hope it was wonderful and you feel ready to take on this fourth quarter and ready to create some wonderful things in art class. Today, we are going to go back to origami and we are going to create these very cool bird finger puppets. If you think you don't want to create a bird finger puppet and you would like to create something like dragon claws, it's the same kind of folding. It just involves a little bit more when you create these claws. So we're going to talk about both things, and it all just depends on how much you want to fold. All right, so let's get busy. Let's start by saying our mantra. I am an artist. I create with my hands, I create with my heart, I create with my head. I can create anything. Okay, here we go. Let's get this party started. So all you need really to get busy and create these wonderful either bird puppets or claws is a piece of notebook paper. And if you want to create the claws, of course, you need more than one sheet of notebook paper. Now, it doesn't have to be notebook paper, it could be copy paper. I just wanted to give you something that was probably easier accessible than something like special origami paper. The key, just like when we made our animales, is that the paper needs to be thin. If your paper is really thick, then it's very, very difficult to fold. So, what I'm going to show you is how to make this into a square piece of paper. Easy peasy. So, I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to put it to the edge, the very tippity top of this paper, and I'm going to try to make sure that it's nice and even up here. If it's all crazy and crooked, it's not going to work. So I am just making a nice fold just like that. And what I have to do is get rid of this piece of paper. I can do that two ways. I can cut it off or I can tear it off. I prefer to cut it off. All right. So I'm just going to follow that line nice and carefully and get a nice straight cut. Now, I'll put that off to the side. So when I am like this, it's perfect because I needed to make a diagonal fold. So I have my diagonal fold already. It looks like a triangle. It looks like a piece of pizza. It could be half of a grilled cheese sandwich. It's all up to you, whatever you want to call it. I like to call it a taco fold. I'm going to open up my taco and I see this line now that I've created from that fold. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this edge of the paper to match that line. It's almost like you're starting to make a paper airplane. So I'm going to just make sure I have it nice and even there. Again, you want to make sure you have nice folds, okay? So I'm going to really crease that now that I know that I have it. And friends, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to bring this up and it's going to match. And I want to have a pointy point at the very, very front. So you can kind of see how I say it's like the start of an airplane. Now it kind of looks like I have an ice cream cone or a kite, all right? But this is what it should look like right now. My next step is I'm just going to fold it in half, just like that. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is take this little bit of a point and take it and put it over here. So I'm going to fold it and just kind of crease it, just like that, just at the bottom. I just want to, what I'm doing here is just making kind of like a measuring point. So it looks like that, all right? And it's going to fling open, and that's fine because that's what you want it to do. So now I have that little mark right here, all right? I'm going to just make a pencil mark so you can see what I'm talking about because you can't really see the creases on my paper. And what I'm going to do is I am going to fold this up so that it runs straight up and down, almost looks like a bird. Now, I want you to look at this right here. What you're trying to do too is make sure that you're going to get a point, and I'm going to show you that on the other side. All right, so this is what it looks like on the front side, and when I flip it over, you can see this is what it looks like on the other side. And if you have, for example, a really big, you see how this is not pointed right here? I'm going to zoom in a little. You see how this is not pointed? Well, if I just kind of take it and smush it and so that it becomes a little bit more pointed, that's fine. So what I did is I took the thicker half, to show you again, a thicker half, and right on that crease, I made this go up and down, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to get a point on the other side. So I turned it over and I had a look-see, and it's not quite a point. So I just made it into a point, and that's fine. So when I have it like this, this is what it looks like. It looks like a bird that is flying, or it could be a sailboat, all right? Then I am going to start wrapping this around. Looks just like that. So I've taken this and I've folded it down, and then I'm going to flip it over again, and I'm going to keep folding and wrapping it around. And this little guy is going to go right in here. So I've tucked that in. So now I have my shape. To show you again, I went from the sailboat, I flipped it over, I folded it up, and then I kept turning it over and folding, and then I tuck this little ear in. And now, when I look at the top, it's completely closed off. When I look at the bottom, I have a place here to put my finger. And now I have either the start of my bird or the start of one of my claws. What I do next is I start the decorating part. If you're making a bird, what I like to do is take my Sharpie marker and just kind of do some outlining first. So I'm going to make the beak. And you know what? If you wanted to make the beak open, you could make some teeth in there if you wanted to. It's all up to you. There's that part. And now the eyeball. And I'm just going to kind of color that in a little bit and give it a glimmer. All right. Then after that, I'm going to come down just a little bit and I'm going to make the wing. And then right about where the wing ends, I'm going to make kind of like a little triangle. All right, almost like an upside down V. All right. Now that's telling me where the tail is here, and I'm just going to cut that little part out. You don't have to, but you can if you're making the bird. If you're making the claws, I wouldn't cut it out. I would just leave it. When I am making the bird, it's just telling me there's the body and there's the tail. And so I will just finish making the body. Now I'm going to make some feathers looking things here and here. And you know what? I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to make the beak. And here's the rest. And here's the eyeball. And it might not be the exact same size, but my point is that we want to keep it symmetrical, because we know animals have two sides to their head. All right, there's that. There's the feather, the wing, and here is the body. And now I'm going to make some tail feathers. Now, you can color it any way you want, except you have to remember, whatever you do on this side, you have to do on this side. And that's how you create your own bird marionette or dragon claws. Depends. You could make a bigger bird. I just looked at this. Look at that. I could make a bigger bird and have more of a tail, feathery kind of thing going here. And this could be the head of the bird. I think there's a lot of different things you could probably create out of it. You could probably also make a fish or a whale out of this. It all depends on what you want to do. But once you've created it, you could have a play, have a little theater night with your family, and make a play, which is always a fun thing to do. And these, the claws, they're also a fun thing to use to have some imaginary play or whatever you'd like. I just think they look really, really awesome. Friends, I hope you have a wonderful day and you have fun creating your bird or your claws. It's all up to you. Take care and be well.